All right. So I'm here with Justin Skinner, one of my clients from about a year or two ago, let's just say. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And we met on Instagram. You are a full-time emergency services helicopter pilot. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yeah.
And you also do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I think at the time we had started, you had just started with Jiu Jitsu. Is that right?
Yeah. I had just started and then we had talked a little. And then oddly enough, we hadn't talked for a couple months. And you sent me a message and I was like, yeah, I'm actually doing my first tournament this weekend. And so then I did the tournament. I kind of got, bulldozed a little bit and decided I needed a plan for some strength training. And so that's kind of how we started with our plan there.
Cool. And so what made you decide from the outcome of the tournament, like what made it clear to you that it wasn't like a deficiency in skill or it wasn't a deficiency in strategy, but like what made it seem to you very strongly that it was a deficiency in strength, conditioning, that sort of thing?
Well, I think it was a deficiency in skill as well. But I knew that strength training would help me out with it. And so I just wanted to try to get my game better as many aspects as I could. But the problem is I go into a gym and it's like there's all this stuff and there's no plan. And what am I even doing? Jiu-jitsu, you have your coaches and it's
Mm.
pretty easy. But if I go into the gym, I just didn't have a plan and it was just kind of willy nilly here and there. So talking with you is like, well, this would be good to have a plan, someone to hold me accountable. Yeah. And it worked out really well. Because within a month, I had guys in the gym that were like, "Man, I can tell you're a lot stronger now."
Within a month. And so
Yeah.
that's actually pretty common. Like, but did you expect for things to come on that fast?
No, no. But and the biggest thing for me was, yeah, I got stronger and everything. But what it helped me with was my recovery more than
Yeah.
I thought would happen. I didn't even think of that aspect of it, but it actually helped with jujitsu recovery to strength train.
Elaborate on that. So a lot of people will say in jiu-jitsu in particular, oh, I'm not going to waste my energy on strength training because like that's going to take energy away from my jiu-jitsu, right? That's a line that I hear all the time. Like, what would you say to those people who say that?
Well, I think the stronger you are, the less energy you have to use at jujitsu.
Yeah, no, like so that's a really good point. But in terms of the subjective things you noticed that made you think, wow, like I'm recovering from my jiu-jitsu sessions faster, what
Yeah,
did you notice?
it was a lot of the aches and pains, the joint pains and things, your shoulders, your elbows, your knees, things like that would just, in the beginning of strength training, I was a little sore for the first week, maybe. But then after that, it was like, I didn't have any issues. But the big thing was like my joints, things like that. Cause that stuff gets sore because you're contorting yourself all around in different ways. And so it helped out a lot with that.
For sure. Yeah. And so like the muscles are basically like one good analogy for understanding this is they're like the suspension system, for your joints, right? So the stronger they are, the more tissue there is there, the more strong tissue there is there, the more force they can absorb instead of that going back into your joints, right?
Yeah.
Given that we attack the joint. That's like the
Yeah.
mainstay of jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to bend the joints backwards. Like
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
so cool. So you noticed less soreness in your joints, better recovery. You're saying people in the gym were commenting early on, and then eventually, um, you ended up getting into running it, and you're doing that now. And I think we reconnected just a week ago, and you were talking about how you were successfully juggling everything between you've run a marathon already. You're planning your second one, and right now you're juggling jiu-jitsu practice, running for distance, and lifting weights. And when I asked you, I think I asked you like if you think that you could have put all this together on your own, right?
Yeah.
Without having like the guidance up front.
Right.
And what was your answer? Just
Well,
remind me.
the big thing is I used to run before jujitsu. That was what I did. I've run like 5 half marathons, and I always wanted to run a marathon. And then I got into jujitsu. I stopped running because I was just doing that. And then I started strength training, and I had a buddy that wanted me to do a marathon with him, so I signed up for it. And I just kind of wanted to get back into it, but I wouldn't have had a plan. So like right now I'm doing like 2 days a week strength training. I do 2 to 3 days of jujitsu. So not, I mean, not a whole lot, but enough for a 40-year-old dad of a 1 year old. And then, I do shorter runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on the weekend, I'll do a longer run, 8 to 10 miles or whatever it is, depending on where I'm at. Uh, the big thing is with the strength training is I never had a plan, and now I have a plan. Like when I come down to my basement to work out, I have a plan. I know what I'm gonna do. It's not like I just kind of walk down here like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen today. And that's how it used to be when you go in the gym. There's so much stuff, and it's like, oh, that guy's doing that. Maybe I'll do that. So now I can kind of combine it all together. Monday was rough, so I was feeling rough, so I just kind of took the day off, went for a walk, kind of ease the body in. But so it ebbs and flows. But I feel great.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've been able to stay on a plan to where like you know what you're doing, you know the reasons why in so many ways you're doing it. It's helping you, with your running, it's helping you with your jujitsu. It's like purposive, it's intentional. It's not just
Right.
you kind of flying by night and working out because you know you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like you're doing it for particular purposes within your training goals. And so cool. And it
That's a
sounds
big
like
reason. That's a big reason I wanted to work with a coach, like with you, because I wanted to kind of learn that, get that investment. And it's like, okay, we worked together for 4 months. Like, it wasn't like work together for 4 months and then we'll work together another 6 months and another year. It was like I wanted to learn as much in that 4 months that I could take forward in my life. And I learned a lot, just in that 4 months. So I mean, yeah, it was well worth it. And I also just I felt the difference. I saw the difference and it was like, oh wow, I can be a lot stronger. I can do this.
cool. Okay. Well, that's awesome. And so, some people will stick with me. I have a lot of clients who have stuck with me for years, and
Hmm.
we keep kind of like working on different problems, right? Like it's like, okay, I got this really high, so now I want to bench press 1.5 times my body weight. Okay, we'll move on to that, right? Oh, I did that. I got to the bench press done. Now I want to maintain that, and I want to, run a sub, 10-minute mile and a half or something, right? So, okay, let's get on to that one, right? And so some people are happy to stick around and continue to work with me and pay for
Yeah.
service for years. But, on the other hand, you know, I feel like it's just as critical and interesting of a case like okay, one-time investment, but even without the guidance, the continued guidance, you're still able to take the stuff you learned, stay
Yeah.
on top of it yourself,
Right.
direct yourself,
Yeah.
and it's like the investment is still paying off in the long term. Yeah.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Yeah, I love it because like I said, I never knew what I was doing in a gym, you know? And you can watch as many videos as you want and this and that, but it's just so different when you're working with somebody and they're like coaching you through it and telling you why you're doing this and why, and you don't get that off of a video that's
Sure.
just put up for the world. I mean, granted, there's really good stuff out there, and I'm not saying there isn't, but the one-on-one stuff is so much better. I can ask questions, to you, not like some comment section and then get all the keyboard warriors telling you what you should. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. And so, okay. So you were able to really learn your way around the gym. So there's a lot of people out there who might be on the fence and maybe they've been asking questions or they've been, looking at Squat University videos or whatever, and they've been they've been trying to piece it together on their own, but you know, it's still Groundhog's Day for them every time they go to the gym and they don't have a system, 'cause that's what you learn. You learned a system, right?
Yeah.
They don't have a an idea of like what order things go in, that sort of thing.
Right.
What would you say to those people who are on the fence and who are like, I can still do this on my own, probably, but they're probably not really going anywhere.
Well, if you want to be serious about it, you got to work with somebody. You, it's just it's the only way. I mean, because I went years where it was like, oh, I'm doing these kettlebells, or I'm, got some dumbbells at home or whatever, but I still, and then go into a gym, get a gym membership, and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's well worth the money, even, and if you're a pretty self-motivated person, you might only need 4 to 6 months
Yeah,
of an investment, and you're going to learn from it as long as you take it serious. I mean, I took down notes from videos that we had and workouts I did. I have all the videos of every workout I did with you because that's how we communicated. So if I'm ever looking at something, I'm like, gosh, I don't remember that. I just go back and look, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that is. And I have
that's right.
4 months worth of plans to do.
That's right. And you can mix and match and you can play around and experiment. And you've got yeah, you've got a permanent record of how you performed each of the exercises in the way that I coached you to, for your
Right.
anatomy, for your unique needs, rather than
Yeah.
just some.
I didn't even know what a landmine was. And now that's like my favorite tool.
Yeah, no, this
Oh,
is super versatile.
it's awesome.
Cool.
So yeah.
Awesome. Justin, I'm glad that you're still getting after it. You're still crushing it. You're still staying on top of your goals. It takes a really motivated kind of person to be able to do that. So super happy that it's still working
Yeah.
out for you. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what your progress looks like months, if not years from now.
Yeah. Stay in touch because you got to hold me accountable every once in a while.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on and helping out.
Yeah, man. It was good talking
All
to
right,
you.
cool. You too.